Hello and welcome to the Mages Guild. We are so thrilled to have you here at the Arcane University. I wanted to take just a few minutes to walk you through your first week, highlight some key policies, and make sure you're set up for arcane and administrative success. First off, benefits. So, yes, we do offer comprehensive health coverage, including minor curse reversals, moderate flame damage treatment, and one free healing class per quarter with a randomly selected member of the restoration department. Please add your name to the sign up sheet nailed to their door if you're interested. Now, your first week should look something like this. Day one is orientation and department placement ceremony. You may express a preference, but ultimately the enchanted dice will decide. Day two, mandatory all-day workshop titled Soul Gem Ethics and You. Day three is the conjuration practicum, so please bring your own circle chalk and avoid summoning anything that speaks. Day four, best practices for identifying and reporting necromantic activity with an optional breakout module on hiding during the Revenant Moon events. And day five is the cross-functional meet and greet with snacks provided by the alchemy department. Please do not ingest anything unlabeled. Any questions so far? Great question. Yes, there is a dress code. Robes are encouraged and pants are optional depending on your department. If you're placed in destruction, fireproof sleeves will be compulsory. Best check in with your department lead directly for details. Anything else? Yes, pets are allowed, provided they don't feed on magicka or faculty. If you're not sure whether your companion counts as a familiar or an interplanar threat, please Slack the Ask Facilities channel and attach a picture. All right, that's it from me. So excited to see all the incredible magic you'll unleash. If you have questions, concerns, or cursed items you'd like me to dispose of discreetly, I'm just a message away. One more time, welcome to the guild. May your scrolls be legible and all your bones accounted for.
Thanks for sitting down with us. Can you tell us a bit more about your role here at the Arcane University?
Definitely. So, officially, I'm the HR here, but my main area of responsibility is turning away people who think it's an actual school. I mean, you obviously can learn here and learn a lot, but we don't really operate like a school. People mistake us for a university all the time and try to bring transcripts, SATs, and personal statements to my office. But, it takes a bit more to get in here and gain access to the guild resources.
So, what requirements do you have to fulfill to get in?
Oh, functioning limbs, mostly. And half a brain will do. We require our applicants to obtain recommendations from all the guild hall heads in Cyrodiil, with Kavach being a recent exception for obvious reasons. The problem is that the Council of Mages just refuses to agree on a standardized recommendation process. So the branch heads do whatever people in these situations tend to do, and that is whatever the hell they want. Some leaders are reasonable and require the candidates to pass a written test or demonstrate magical abilities under safe conditions. Others send the candidates on random errands to alien ruins, into lakes, or to fetch groceries for the guild break room. So if you're lucky enough to still have a warm body after obtaining the Cheydinhall recommendation, you're in.
That sounds dangerous. Why is it so challenging to get the guild halls to agree on a process?
Well, first and foremost, it's because they all hate each other and think the other branch heads are idiots. This is a direct consequence of not having a standardized recruitment protocol and just having random people randomly progress through the ranks. I mean, some of them are lovely folks, don't get me wrong, but most are either incompetent or evil or both. So getting them all in a room to hash out a shared scoring rubric would be next to impossible. In theory, the Council of Mages could force their hand and make them implement something sensible, but they've got bigger fish to fry, so to speak. We're still reeling from the ban on necromancy the Archmage instituted about 2 years ago. We've lost many people since then, and I suspect a part of the reason we don't have stricter entry policies is because they're trying to boost the guild numbers by any means.
I take it the ban was an unpopular move.
You could say something like that. After the ban, a number of employees relocated to various caverns around Cyrodiil in order to continue practicing their arts. We had to take them off the payroll after that. The Archmage just said to mark them as abandoned position. I'm still hoping no one audits us.
Wow, that must have been really hard on them.
I'm actually not so sure. A lot of folks who left were already reclusive and preferred dark underground chambers for practice. The necromancers were mostly single men who stuck together during lunch. So relocating to a cavern with all of their mates wasn't a huge lifestyle shift, at least for a lot of them. Necromancy was generally not a popular career specialization around here. I suspect a few stayed back but practice quietly now. Probably the folks with families who didn't want to move because their kid goes to a good school here. I'm sure most of them are harmless. I just wish they'd stop sending black soul gems through the official Mages Guild couriers.
Well, that's alarming. And what are some of the more popular specializations at the university?
Oh, alchemy, for sure. A bunch of really bright folks, and always a positive atmosphere in their department. Very few rumors of necrophilia. Can't say the same about other departments. There are a few that are a source of the majority of my workload day to day. For example, this week I've had an influx of complaints from Conjuration about the illusion folks gaslighting them into thinking they were summoning things that weren't really there. And of course, I hold a weekly mediation session between destruction and restoration. The Archmage made it mandatory after last year's incident.
And how is it working under Archmage Traven? We've heard great things about him.
Oh, he's amazing. Very kind, very considerate, easily one of the best managers I've ever worked with. And of course, exceptionally skilled in the magical arts. You'd be lucky to have a practice session with him. He's weirdly obsessed with necromancy, though. It seems like every conversation I have with him somehow ends up there. Hello, you've reached the Arcane University Necromancy Reporting Hotline. How may I assist you? Okay, and where exactly did you spot the suspected remains? Got it. Were they actively moving or just ominously arranged? Yes. Yes, ritual placement of bones is generally considered a red flag, especially if it's in the staff lounge. Did you see any soul gems nearby? No? Then it could also be a black sacrament. And you said the suspect was wearing robes or a cloak? Was there a hood involved? Yeah, that does complicate things a bit. Unfortunately, hooded figures are not in and of themselves against guild policy. Did the person in question say anything? Any mentions of worms, perhaps? No? All right. Low level offense then. Yeah, we'll classify this as ambient necromantic residue and send a team to mop up. In the meantime, please do not engage with the individual, especially not if they offer to show you something in the basement. Thank you for your vigilance. The council appreciates your discretion.
For our viewers who might be unfamiliar, what exactly is necromancy?
Great question. Necromancy refers to the arcane reallocation of residual animating force from deceased sources, most commonly employed in the temporary reactivation of organic matter for utilitarian purposes. It's not technically illegal in Cyrodiil unless you're part of the Mages Guild. We banned it about 2 years ago for a number of reasons: public image, morale, repeated incidents in the faculty parking lot. It used to be a respected school of magic, practiced by licensed professionals with access to proper equipment and lab skeletons. Nowadays, it's mostly a bunch of ex employees holed up in caves doing weird things with ribs. Common necromantic activities include binding souls to physical remains, repurposing corpses for combat or clerical work, and mailing black soul gems in opaque packaging via the official Mages Guild courier network. We do not condone this, but also we don't officially track who's still doing it. It's dealt with on a case by case basis, preferably by someone other than me. Good morning, and thank you for joining this week's Arcane University All Hands. Since we have a couple of new joiners, we'll kick it off with a few important reminders. First of all, please remember we are a guild, not a school. We do not offer coursework, dormitories, or merit based scholarships. We do offer extensive risk exposure, uneven mentorship opportunities, and access to one of the continent's most poorly maintained teleportation networks. Welcome aboard. Now, onto the necromancy policy update. Yes, the ban remains in effect. Yes, it applies even if the reanimated subject consents. No, we will not be revisiting the motion this quarter, despite recent lobbying by the Friends of the Worms Club, which, to be clear, is not a recognized student organization and should not be using the Chadenhall Guild basement as a meeting place. If you suspect a colleague is engaging in prohibited necromantic behavior, please report it via the official hotline. If they offer to show you something in the basement, please report it faster. Now, onto the Guild Hall recommendations. We are aware of growing concerns around the quality and consistency of our regional recommendations. This week alone, we received endorsements for candidates who have retrieved someone's ex girlfriend's necklace from an abandoned fort, resolved a petty prank war involving invisible rats, carried groceries, and intervened in what we are legally calling a romantic miscommunication turned serial homicide. While these efforts may demonstrate initiative, they do not constitute a standardized admission protocol. Unfortunately, neither does anything else at the moment. We are working on it as a part of our Q4 roadmap. Keep an eye out for updates in the general channel. Finally, if for whatever reason you're working with bones, for the love of Magnus, label them properly. Custodial Services has asked us to remind everyone that unidentified rib cages will be disposed of as biohazard promptly. We know this is a time of change. Morale is low. Several of your coworkers have moved into caves. But we remain committed to arcane excellence and ethical practice. Thank you. That's it from the people team. And now over to you, Archmage.
You mentioned that some of the Mages Guild branches issue interesting recommendations. Would you care to share a few?
Absolutely. Here's one of our recent applicant folders. It's a pretty representative sample. Chadenhall. Candidate demonstrated strong diving skills. Recommend acceptance into the university. Skingrad. Candidate successfully escorted an unstable mage out of a zombie-infested cave. Recommend acceptance into the university. Bruma. Candidate put a stop to a prank the local mages were pulling on me personally. Recommend acceptance into the university. Leowin. Candidate successfully retrieved a sentimental, not valuable, piece of jewelry from a ruined fort. Recommend acceptance into the university. Braville. Candidate resolved a romantic spat involving a guild member. Was ready to spend her own money to complete a guild task. Recommend acceptance into the university. You'll notice none of them tested her spellcasting. She was accepted and is currently advancing through the ranks exceptionally fast.